I always ask, like the last couple years in particular, but I feel like it's been brewing for 3 or 4 years. The new Puritanism that seems to be coming from the left. And I wonder what Lenny Bruce would think about that.
Well, we know what those who can exercise free speech as comics have to say about it. They're increasingly staying away from college campuses. And everyone from, Chris Rock to Jerry Seinfeld and others have said that they really stay away from college campuses because of the atmosphere there. And it is a new intolerance. And, I try not to raise this in ways that politicize it and say one side is right and the other side is wrong. It's just the latest example of the kind of authoritarian impulse that some people have in silencing others.
Yeah, and I've more and more I sort of avoid this left-right paradigm, which I've
Yes.
never really bought into anyway.
Exactly.
Because I think the new rules, and maybe they were the same rules always, was this idea that you have on one side authoritarians that passionately believe they know what you should read and how you should think.
Exactly.
Versus, I guess, libertarians or anti-authoritarians on the other side that are kind of live and let live and we'll work this stuff out together. I guess that's always been the case.
I think it has been, and that's one of the points I try and make in the book by focusing on examples of censorship through American history that come from both the left and the right. And again, trying to come up with labels for one side or the other really doesn't make that much sense. It's whether you have an authoritarian impulse or not.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us, lay down some basic concepts, and you might get into some of the history when you do this. But the mind of the censor. Give us the Weberian archetype here.
Okay, well, the mind of the censor is that these are people who believe that government authority can be used either to prohibit speech or regulate speech that think is uniquely harmful or particularly beneficial in the event that they want to mandate that kind of speech. They are characterized by their certainty that they are correct and that other views really can't be permitted. And since Anthony Comstock, and we'll get into the reasons why for that, censors in the 20th century, as First Amendment law developed, constantly try and deny that what they are doing is censorship, because essentially this one example of the first really professional censor in America really spoiled the field, ruined the area for others who came after him.
Yeah. So who was Anthony Comstock?
Anthony Comstock started out as a vigilante in New York City in the 1870s. In 1872, he came to New York after serving in the Civil War. He was a dry goods clerk, and he was a devout Puritan, and decided to rid the city of sinful materials, starting with smut peddlers, as he saw it. He would invite members of the press to come with him on his citizens' arrest raids. And he came to the attention of the gentlemen who were the benefactors to the YMCA. And they began to support him and ultimately bankrolled a trip for Comstock to Washington, D.C., where he championed the adoption of a new law prohibiting obscenity in the mail.